All right, so Nikola Jokic told the Nuggets on Tuesday that he's not talking about an extension this summer. He's going to wait until next summer to potentially talk and sign a max contract extension. Is this a good thing, Adam? Is this a bad thing? What are you thinking on this?
I think it's a neither good nor bad, personally. I mean, it's a logical thing. The way it works is he can tack on to have 5 years of extension. So right now, he could extend that for 3 more years, make a certain amount of money. If he does it next summer, he can extend for 4 more years, make even more money. So I think that is, I mean, from the outside, it certainly seems like that is the only thing that is being considered in all of this. Is it makes more sense. It's more money and more years for him to do it next year. So it was a quick conversation, and he said, "Yeah, we'll go with that one." So that's on the surface. That's like layer number one. I think it's the most important thing, and almost certainly the only, or at least biggest, motivating factor for it.
I agree. Like it seems like the 80 million that he can get by doing it next summer is the driving force here. It
The
also doesn't
extra 80
seem
million.
yeah, the extra 80 million on
Yeah,
top of the whatever 100 million he'll sign for.
it's a lot of money.
Um, Imagine if you could just say, "Nah, I'll talk about it in a year from now," and just bank 80 million like
Right.
that. That'd be that'd be
Yeah.
nice.
It would be nice. And I think it is nice that there's an extra year. If he does it next year, it gives you an extra year of him being under contract and under team control. So that part of it I think is great. But let's be honest, we're all going to sweat it out. First of all, I don't think there's any reason for Nuggets fans to think that Jokic wants anything but to spend the entirety of his career here. I don't think there
Right.
is anything that gives you pause for that. And I know fans freak out and is the team good enough? Are they wasting his prime? I think Jokic at the moment is extremely satisfied in Denver, happy with it, and doesn't view it the way people sometime in the comment section do. So that's the first step of all of this. Is I don't think there's any red flags or any signals like that, but it doesn't mean we're not all going to be a little nervous that he could become that, because if he signed now, he'd be locked up for 5 more years, and if he doesn't, we'll have to get into next summer and at least sweat a little bit.
Right. He's been asked also so many times over the years by so many people in so many different ways. Do you want to spend your whole career in Denver? Do you want to be the Tim Duncan of the Nuggets?
Right.
Do you want to be with one franchise your whole career? How important is that to you? And he's answered it every time by pretty much saying, yes, that's what I want to do. So I agree. We shouldn't be sweating this out. I actually feel like it's might be a good thing that he didn't sign the extension this summer. I think it gives you probably one more year of Jokic in a Nuggets jersey
Mm-hmm.
than you were getting like beforehand, because now he's kind of just pushing it back a year. I feel like he'll sign another, 5-year max contract. He'll play that out and then we'll go from there. But this is kind of banking another season of Jokic in Denver. From that perspective, it's a good thing. But yeah, there will be a point day one of free agency when he's eligible to sign it that we'll probably have to sweat it out a little bit. I'm not worried about it at all, though.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is the conversation around it, because I think that'll
Right.
be the thing. Is there's people that are incentivized, first of all, to make it into a storyline. Well, Giannis's contract is up then, and Jokic's, and what of this, and could these guys want to do this? So that speculation you can't control, and unfortunately, I think that will become some noise. You might even start
Yeah.
to hear it today. When this hits the talk shows, people might start to bring it up and try to speculate. So that part of it, I think, will be annoying. But yes, the good part of this is Jokic plays this year and extends further out 4 more years. That's at least 5 more years of Nikola Jokic. That part of it is like really exciting because we feel like he has 5 more years in him. I mean, we think that he has more than that, but it would be nice to at least kind of exhale and start to think about this idea of, oh, yes, Jokic isn't going to retire early and all of a sudden disappear in the mountains. This extends it in a way that it's like, oh, great. We got Jokic for another half decade minimum.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. We talked about this right after the season ended. Hey, what if Yoke didn't sign the extension this summer and maybe put a little pressure on the organization to make some upgrades,
Yeah.
make some changes, bring in some new life, like add some weapons? Well, they did just that. I've got to think Nikola Jokic is pretty thrilled with the moves the Nuggets have made. Cam Johnson, that's an upgrade. Tim Hardaway Jr., another shooter, Bruce Brown, a guy he loved playing with in Denver, getting him back. So it's kind of gone from, oh, maybe he should apply some pressure to, I don't even know if he did or not. And the Nuggets just made those moves anyway. So I
Right.
gotta feel like he's pretty happy with the situation.
And I think that I don't think, and I have not heard anything that makes me think Jokic is using any of his leverage like that. He
Right.
certainly could. It's more popular now in today's NBA for a player of Jokic's stature to use his leverage to force the team and to put pressure on him. LeBron famously would sign 1-year contracts so that he would always be like, "Yeah, I'm not extending. I'm going to stay here. You, if the team's good, I'll be good. I'll stay here." I don't think Jokic's doing anything like that. But whether he's doing it on purpose or not, it will position him to be able to do that next summer if he so chooses. I mean, this is the first year the Nuggets could put this extension in front of him for the last several, and they made some big moves. And it's possible he sits back and says, you know what, next summer, before I go to Serbia, I'll say, hey, yeah, call me in a couple months and let me know what you've done with the roster, and then we'll talk extension. Again, out of character for him, but it's maybe something he could learn from this.
Yeah. And I do think another thing with Jokic, I think this was the case when they brought in Russell Westbrook. That's a guy he's wanted to play with for the last couple years. I feel like he's going to have more and more influence over the roster and, some of the moves they make here and there. Are you okay with letting this guy go?
Really?
Sure. I just feel like his influence with that is going to grow. And especially with a young front office, I feel like he might even have a little more influence on what type of direction they're going with the roster.
I'm not so sure. And I think it's a double edged sword. And while I agree with you that I do think Jokic has some influence over the roster, I don't think he wants full influence over it. I don't think he
I
views
agree.
that as job. Like Jokic is a guy that very much believes in people's roles, and he has the superstar role, but he doesn't have the GM role. And so I think he understands there are areas that maybe he's comfortable. Same with like stepping on Malone's toes, right? Something he never wanted to do and was always uncomfortable with. But it's like, hey, you're the leader. There's actually room for you to do that. And it was very hard for him. I think it's going to be the same for the front office. But what I would say is there is a healthy amount of pressure for him. And I wonder if he understands that. Hey, I don't want to be LeBron James and like picking who coaches the team, who's on the team, all this different stuff. But I do want to have a voice. And I do want to let people know. And I just wonder if it's like he can find the healthy balance there of sharing his perspective without feeling like he's ordering people around.
Yeah. What team do you think is going to be the popular Jokic
Ooh.
destination for first take?
Power ranking the first takes Jokic
I mean, there's a
destination.
clear number one.
It's the
Let's be honest.
Lakers. I mean, everybody would love Jokic, Luka in in LA. That would be
And I
to
think
me.
they're both now technically could be free agents in the summer of 2026.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, here's the thing though. Jokic in LA, it's
He
just
would
hell.
hate it
He
so
would
much.
hate
He
it
would
so
hate it
much.
so
I mean,
much.
he's a rare example of a guy that's the opposite of that. And I actually think this. I mean, we're kind of laughing. I I don't think Jokic will leave Denver. But I do think Denver could test that. Like Denver could really punt on seasons in ways that are, tough, and maybe he would. But I just don't know that Jokic sees the appeal in some of the things that other people see appeal in. Big markets, glamorous markets, more media attention, more media deals, more of that kind of stuff. Uh, Even legacy. Like, I don't know if Jokic looks at the Boston Celtics and thinks, "Ooh, what a 70-year history." I don't think he cares. So I think that Jokic is a bit of a weird beast in this one, and that I think he likes it in Denver, likes the size of the city, and as long as the team is good to him, he'll be good to them back.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we got a year to not worry about it, and then we can worry about it maybe for a day next free agency.
Just don't. That's my advice to people watching. Don't let it drive you crazy. I promise the talking heads are going to try to make this into something. Don't let it drive you crazy.
Yeah.
There, you can worry about it, but it's a small worry. Next year you get here, and that's when you should worry. But right now, I think he just sees more money and more opportunity, more years. He'll take it.
And I wouldn't worry because I think he's going to sign at the first chance he gets next summer.
Yeah.